Hey everyone, it's Daryl from Houseplant Journal, and today I'm going to teach you how to take care of the maidenhair fern. Now, a lot of people think maidenhair ferns are difficult, but that's only because they're not ever given the expectation for how many fronds are supposed to die off, or the frond turnover. As old ones die off, new ones grow in. Instead, the moment they see any frond dying, they start to panic. Here's a quote I posted on Instagram the other day. The experienced plant owner is not the one who never loses a leaf. It is the one who knows how much leaf loss is normal. Look at this picture from a conservatory. There are definitely dead fronds here. Does that mean the people here aren't taking care of the plant correctly? No, it means that older leaves naturally die off as new ones grow and come in. You can see here with my plant, it looks nice and green, but underneath, these older fronds are spent and it's time to cut them off. Cutting off dead leaves is a normal part of owning plants, but that's why it's so important to understand the conditions that are favorable for normal plant growth, so that even when leaves die off, you can be confident that the plant is going to continue growing. Now, the first thing to talk about is light. So for this guy, I put the plant a little bit awkwardly underneath a different plant stand, and from there it has a very wide view of the sky because the window goes from floor to ceiling, and because my window faces west, there's about 2 to 3 hours when the sun is directly touching this plant. That's right, the sun touches this plant directly and it's still growing perfectly fine. The real trick is about watering. So the thing with maidenhair ferns is that the moment that their soil becomes even somewhat dry, that's when it's time to water. If you let the soil get to the point where it's almost half dry, that's when it will start losing a lot of fronds at the same time. So the trick is, every day I look at this plant and I kind of lift it, and if the pot is even slightly dry compared to when it's fully moistened, then I'm going to take it to the sink and fully moisten it again. But it also sits inside a little pan, so I don't always have to bring the plant out. I can just pour in some water to keep it at the evenly moist state. Now, another issue that people often bring up is humidity. Now, the thing is, humidity doesn't cause the drying of the fronds in a sort of direct manner, as if like low humidity directly affects the structure of the leaf. No, humidity affects the transpiration rate. So with lower humidity, the transpiration rate is higher. And when the transpiration rate is higher, it draws up more water out of the soil. And therefore, it causes the soil to become dry faster. And as I mentioned earlier, if the soil reaches that critical dryness point, then many of the fronds will wilt, and that's usually when most people consider the plant dead. Now, if that does happen to you, then what you can do is cut off all the foliage, all the dry foliage, and re-soak the soil. Put that plant back where it has a nice open view of the sky and see what happens. You might find new little fronds popping up in a week or two. But for me, I have never used a humidifier. I don't ever mist my plants, and this winter the humidity was always sitting around somewhere 30%, and my plant was perfectly fine. Now, I say perfectly fine knowing that I'm going to lose 2 or 3 of these fronds every couple of weeks, but new ones will pop up, and they definitely have. Now, if your maidenhair fern is really growing like crazy, it's possible to divide it. You can simply unpot it, take a very sharp knife, and cut it from the bottom upwards and gently tease apart the fronds. This is what I did with this plant several months ago, and the other half of the plant is currently living in my shower. I'll show that to you another time. Another sign that your maidenhair fern is doing really well is that eventually some of your more mature fronds will have these little dots on the edges of the leaves. Now, they're not scale, these are actually the spores. So it's like the frond is going through puberty. These are the spores from which new plants can grow. Now, I've never tried actually removing the spore and planting them, but if anyone has, you can leave a comment below and tell me what it's like. So I hope these tips will help you give the maidenhair fern another chance. If you're looking for personalized plant advice, I'm happy to help. I've left a link below so that you can learn more about these services. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hit that subscribe button and make sure you're getting notified of when new videos are coming out. I'm Daryl. Thanks for watching. Bye.